Arkansas fans don't cost the university $250,000 by storming the court as they defeat the Kentucky Wildcats 75-73. It's a glorious day. The tough stretch of basketball. You could, I mean, yeah, you like, oh, I wish we'd have got that 1-point win over Alabama. That would have been nice, even though it wasn't that. It was a 1-point win by Alabama, but it was not that close. Forget that. Tennessee taken care of, Auburn taken care of, Kentucky now taken care of in a game where JD Notae looked like the most unguardable player in college basketball. It was ridiculous. And Arkansas's perimeter defense was almost perfect.
Who'd you think was player of the game?
It's a tough one. Yeah, it's Notae. You said he would have to do something insane to be player of the game. I mean, he was player of the game. He was.
I didn't even pay attention to. What did he end up with at the very end?
Notae ends up with, I think he didn't score a lot in the last 5 minutes. He became a facilitator, which was great to see. But Notae ends up with 30 points, 8 assists. Yeah.
And great defense.
And great defense. Okay. Jalen Williams ends up with 16 points, 12 rebounds, and he looked tired, man. That's as tired as I've seen him look.
Honestly, weirdly, might have been one of his worst games. Like, I mean, those numbers are still good, and he did a good job.
Dude, but he was so clutch, dude.
Yeah, no, he was at the end there. But up into that point where he started making a couple of those shots and got that and one.
Well, dude, it's like all of a sudden, they did something. It was so great where maybe this, I wish they would have not waited this long. Okay, Oscar Tshiebwe is a monster. Like, I mean, like, he's just a monster. Like, he averages 16 rebounds a game. He's just a beast. There's not a lot you can do. He's an absolute. It's not like no one's ever tried to box him out or anything. He's just an absolute animal on the glass. Now, I mean, just so strong too. Big, strong, anticipation. Tips the ball to himself a lot. He's just a hustler. He's always working. Great. I mean, you'd love it if he's on your team. However, they realized on the stretch, as great as he is, and he was amazing in that game, he can't guard Jalen Williams on the perimeter. He just can't do it. Jalen Williams is too fast, too long.
Jalen Williams.
I would have tried to foul him out, man. I would have been doing that early, like spread it out and let him take it to him.
Jalen Williams was bailing him out, as he did a little bit too. Like Jalen Williams was, I mean, you could tell the plan was, if he wants to take 17-foot jump shots, it's not that he can't make them, but we're going to live with it. If Tshiebwe beats us making 17-footers, then we'll live with it. But it kind of felt like they did a little bit of the same thing, not so much, but with Williams, he probably shot too many perimeter shots in the first 3 quarters of that game. And I know he can make those, and they're actually amazing when he makes them because they really pump up the crowd. They love it when he makes those. But you could tell they were also saying the same thing. Like, it's not that we know you can shoot that shot, but we don't think you can beat us. That's not where you're really hurting us, is hitting a couple of threes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you're hurting us.
At the end of the game, when they were doubling Notae and stuff, Jalen Williams stepped up and he hit like a 16-foot jump shot, was nothing but the bottom, and then he started just putting the ball on the deck and going getting fouled. Got an and-one, going to the free throw line. I mean, he closed that game out. I mean, he was a stud down the stretch.
Those free throws were, dude. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is why I'm not a good. I can't hit a free throw if I can go 80% all the time. But then if I step to the free throw line and it's every other, and I look over and I realize I want to be on this team, and if I make this shot, there's my friends and the guys I want to play with, and I don't really want to play on this team, so I need to make this shot. If it's clutch, I choke every time. I'm bricking it off the back of the rim. I can't even make it when it's just like nobody even cares. I just want to be on that team. I don't know how you shoot free throws when you are, there's a minute left in the game and you need both of these so bad. And
he made four down the stretch that were huge.
Yep.
It went 100% from the line down the stretch. Huge. Dude, it was a great game. I thought our defense was amazing. I mean, I think they decided that they were not going to overplay Tshiebwe. I mean, he got doubled a lot and stuff, at times, but you could tell one of the reasons he got all those points is that they were not going to let Kentucky shoot the ball.
It was a little bit like the Florida game where they were not that they were satisfied with letting the big man get his, but they just thought they had a better shot of, outlasting them on hard twos rather than doubling down and giving those shooters open looks.
And Jalen was, he was doing the best he could. I mean, that's a hard thing to deal with down there. And he was trying not to foul out. He knew he couldn't get in foul trouble. He did a good job of not really getting in foul trouble, I thought. Notae, great job not getting in foul trouble. Definitely that would have been horrible. All the kind of things that you needed to happen. You needed someone to have a great game. Notae did. You needed Williams and Notae to be on the floor a ton and not be in foul trouble. That they did. You needed a Notae to be 3-point shooting Notae, and he was. And it was great, dude. And you needed everyone to show up on defense, which you knew was going to happen. But dude, I will tell you this: like Tshiebwe plays hard. You can't ever say that anyone's going to probably play any. You can play as hard as him, but I don't know if you can play any harder than he plays. But as a team, Arkansas played harder. Yeah. They just did. I mean, when you looked at those loose balls, you looked at they just played harder, man.
Yeah, and honestly, I have to say, obviously, with the exception of Notae, who played maybe his best game ever offensively, I actually didn't even feel like that was Arkansas's best game. I felt like Williams actually was capable of playing better than that. I think he was pretty tired on offense, man. I mean, he was in a war in the post, and he was as tired as I've seen him. I think what he was having to do on trying to keep him off the glass. I mean, Williams ended up with 12 rebounds, by the way, and we didn't get destroyed on the glass as a team. We lost the rebounding battle, but not by a lot. Well, what I mean is,
I just how that is. Like, you ever had a defensive assignment and it just limits you on offense? You're just like, man, I'm freaking exhausted. I got to save all my energy for this war that I have going on in the paint down there. And
yeah, I mean,
he also that war was continuing. I think it was hard for Williams to get involved in the offense because even when you're on offense, you're still trying to keep him off the glass.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not that Williams played bad at all, but if you lead up to within the last 5 minutes where Williams really did step up and was clutch, he still had some, good rebounding numbers, and he still had I don't know, 8 points, but just he made a couple of plays that he normally is smarter about. He made a couple of bad passes. He charged that guy, even though he did go get it on the other end right away. But that was the same exact play that he was able to control himself and not charge over that guy in the other games. And I thought I could see a couple of times, and it was probably because he was tired, that he underestimated Tshiebwe's ability to rebound even out of position. And he'd have good position. And instead of getting his body into Tshiebwe and pushing him back, he'd be like, well, I'm in front, the ball's right there. And he'd go straight up, but not block out a Tshiebwe. And Tshiebwe will just keep hitting that ball until he gets it. You know what I mean? And there was a couple of times where it's if you had that to do over again, you'd get the body first, then the ball, instead of trying to just go straight up.
I was a little surprised that Kamani Johnson didn't play with Williams every now and then and just to give him a break, but you could still from having to box him out, and then you could still use Jalen a little bit on offense. Not the whole game or anything, but if you just send Kamani in there and just say you have one job, that's boxing him out.
Yeah, because he actually did an okay job when he was out there. I mean, he played some good minutes resting.
Yeah, and Jalen needed it. Jalen couldn't play. Jalen couldn't play 40 minutes that game. That game he had too difficult of a task to do it with no breaks.
Yeah. Obviously Musselman knows what he's doing more than we do, but it kind of surprised me that all year that they haven't at least tried to sub in, and this seems like a perfect game where Wade didn't have his best game, and why not substitute him in there and he can play Wade's part. I mean, he's probably a little bit.
He can't switch everything like Wade can, but if you have a guy like Tshiebwe, there wasn't a ton of switching going on. If you have a opponent that has a player like that, you just say that's the guy you're guarding. You can put Jalen on someone else. You can guard somebody else.
maybe they just thought Calipari would be smart enough to go, okay, now Tshiebwe. I mean, Tshiebwe
Yeah.
would go set screens and,
Yeah.
you know, but if you had Williams in there with him, Williams can help on that screen by saving the backcourt. You know, I mean, he stands back there ready and waiting if there's a bad switch and Kamani couldn't.
I'm sure
stay in front of him.
there's very, very good reasons. It's a thought that was in my head for sure. I thought Notae played great though. Like he hit the shots you need him to hit. He played great. Everybody played good defense, dude. Everybody played good defense. The perimeter defense was great. They were frustrated. We just didn't let him shoot the ball, man. I mean, Wheeler he hit a bank three. He hit a shot that like clunked off the back iron and then rolled it. I mean, all kinds of stuff that you're like, dude, like we beat Kentucky with like zero help. Because like there's some shots that were like, that's dumb. There was I don't think the reffing was bad or anything. I thought the officiating was fine. But just some shots that were being made.
And there was a very pivotal moment in the first half where we were up by like 10 or 11, and this was actually where, like I said, he's not normally like this, but I think
someone passed him the ball and he like didn't go dive on the floor and go get it.
First he looked away before he caught the ball, so it bounced off his hands, and then it kind of bounced to his side, and instead of gobbling it up like, oh crap, he just casually it was almost like he was still looking like to whom he wanted to pass to or something, and the dude just took it from him, went down, and then, by the way, that's when I fouled the crap out of you on that. You know what I mean? I'll make you earn that from the line. I just screwed up. I'm not going to let you posterize me. I don't know why he didn't do that. It's like, especially when you're Wade, when you're the guy like Wade, dude, you got a foul to give, and you got to make that guy earn that from the line when it's wide open or when he's out on the run like that. And that was a big momentum shift in the first half. I mean, they still, you know, that's when they started, they made a couple of shots and they got it within 6, and then we still brought it back to like 11, but it's still, we had something building, and that was a moment. And, you know, cause he made that very nice, difficult layup over Wade and got, you know, all energized and screaming. And the announcers were like, Kentucky, great defense. I'm like, that had nothing to do with their defense. That was literally Arkansas just, you know, playing poorly on offense and lazy. And I felt like that's why I said, I feel like, and I'm not saying Kentucky played their best game. You know, they obviously could have hit some more shots, but I think most of that's attributable to Arkansas's defense. But
they didn't get a lot, dude. I think how many threes did they? I mean, I know they shot some.
Yeah, they didn't take a ton,
and it wasn't because they didn't want to. They shot 15. They were 4 of 15. Dude, there was not good open looks from the outside. There just were not. And you know,
I feel like we can beat Kentucky. That's not a fluke. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, Notae played amazing, but there's another version of that game where Notae has half that many points, but then Tony has 15, and you know, Likes has 10. And I mean, Arkansas has multiple ways to beat you now. And tonight was Notae's night.
I don't know if Likes is playing a lot against Kentucky. He didn't
probably
tonight.
Not.
They were really going to go with that. Like they didn't want to get Likes caught in switches on with Grady and have, you know, they didn't want him to be able to shoot over the top of him, but that's fine. And I thought, you know, Devo played good defense. He didn't really shoot the ball that much. Because here's the thing, like what they did, Notae was rolling. And one thing that's great about Arkansas is like they're very unselfish. And they're like, it ain't broke. Like, make Kentucky stop this. Like, we're just gonna let JD like just do whatever he wants until you figure out how to stop it. And then they started doubling and tripling him, and to Notae because Notae made him pay for it every time. When he collapsed defense, he was getting Tony on dunks and Mude for threes. He had 8 assists. I mean, he wasn't being selfish in the sense that he wasn't unwilling to pass the ball. I think the team just was just like, dude, you go do you until they stop it. And when they stop it, I'll be ready to shoot that ball. And that's what they did. And then in the last couple of minutes, they really focused in on Notae, and Jalen said, let me go to work. That's what it's going to be. And so, yeah, this wasn't just like Notae jacking up a bunch of shots or whatever. I think this was
No, he took
Very
like
much very much
a handful of, not the best advised shots, but most of them were not terrible. And
dude. Notae finishes at the rim is
some of
ridiculous.
that one where he goes in with his right hand and spins it off. Like sometimes you're like, you look at it and you're like, he's too deep, or he doesn't have the angle, and somehow, or he's got that big guy on. It's like there's no way he's gonna have to scoop it way too far. He had the angles tonight, man.
He had the angles, and
the
not only
touch.
he had the angles. He scored. Like the reason that he looked like the hardest player in the country to guard tonight or this afternoon was because he scored from everywhere.
Yep.
He's like, I'm shooting threes, I'm shooting elbow jumpers, I'm shooting floaters, I'm finishing at the rim through contact.
One-handed dunk, which shocked me. Like I mean, he normally doesn't do that, and no. I didn't even think he had it. I thought I didn't know that.
I didn't know that was in the bag.
No, that was great.
Yeah, and like if you're Kentucky, you're like, I don't know what to do here. Like if you can't guard him close, but if you don't and he's shooting well, you're in big trouble. But if you guard him close, like he is so good with the ball.
I hate guarding guys like that. It makes me. I mean, I love that he's on our team. He's so patient with his dribble, and because of the stupid floater that has now become so popularized and everyone can shoot now, or all these guards, that shot, you don't have to set your feet, you don't have to set your body, so it can come out of nowhere. And that's one of those things that it's like the way that people can shoot the deep three now with a high percentages. It changes everything about the way a defender has to play a guy when you have to be in a guy's pocket and still you can't tell when that ball's coming out. Normally, like even with Kobe and Jordan and those guys, it's not that you could stop it because they were the best of the best, but you could at least kind of tell when they'd turn and then they'd shake and you knew the fadeaway was coming. You know what I mean? Like there was a little bit of a setup and you could try to kind of dive your hand in there. With the floater and stuff, it's like, it just comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do about it.
And it's not like Notae is, I mean, he's fast, obviously, but he's not the fastest guy on the floor. That's not what he's doing. It's what you're talking about. He's so patient, and he just gets you into. He just is so good at getting to the spot he wants to get to, and getting you in the defensive position that he wants you to be in. It really is special. I mean, he's got a gift for doing that, and he's a nightmare to guard. I mean, he's got
that. He's figured out. I mean, obviously, like subconsciously.
And by the way, he had some sick passes too. By the way, tonight too.
He's figured out like how to kind of like in jiu-jitsu, where you use the other person's momentum against them. Where he doesn't mind when the other guards, and even if a double team comes, he doesn't mind that contact. You can tell he kind of likes it because he knows where the guy is and what he needs to do in reaction. And he'll a lot of times get that guy really up on him, and he likes that contact because then he knows when he can turn the corner, or if the double comes where he needs to pass. Like he really doesn't. I mean, dude, there's a lot of hand fighting, a lot of hip checking, a lot of chest to chest, shoulder to chest, physicality, and he seems to really like it because he can kind of push off of that and then get that little leaner going. You know what I mean?
Also, I feel like he came back bigger this year too. Not that he wasn't skinny last year, but like he looks more. He's got more muscle on him. Like he spent a little bit of time in the gym in the off season because he's strong, and he looks like he's stronger than he was last year.
Yeah,
like just in his shoulders and his arms. Like he looks like he was like, I'm going to power through some contact. I want to be able to show, I'm going to be able to bang around with some guards, play some bully ball. And dude, if he gets you going downhill, it is over. You get on your heels against him, it's over. So yeah, dude. Fingers crossed. I mean, let's not say it, but maybe let's speak it into existence. JD could come back next year. He is eligible to come back next year.
Have you seen anything about like prospects for the NBA? Like,
no. I mean, he's obviously a pro baller, whether that's NBA or somewhere. I mean, he can go make money at the end of the season playing basketball somewhere. But if he wants to really develop into a point guard, there might be a good reason for him to come back and play the point guard role again and really hone in on that, really try to tweak those skills. You can see an argument for it. I won't be surprised or anything. I would be surprised if he does come back, but it would be great. I mean, you'd be talking about you want to talk about being hyped for next year. If and also the same is true of Tony, who could technically come back as well. We'll see. Musselman is also awesome. Is not a guy that tries to convince you to stay.
Right. He wants you to do what's best for you.
Yeah. So if he doesn't think that's what's best, if he thinks that, or if he just thinks it's too dangerous and you should go get paid, he definitely seems, Musselman is the kind of coach that encourages you to go get your money as soon as he thinks you can go get it, so so that might be part of it too. I mean, some coaches might be trying to coax him. I don't know if Musselman would do that unless he really believes that another year of of working on being a point guard would, maybe make him be a first round pick or something. If he believes that, maybe there's a reason to have a conversation about it. But anyway, let's talk about, there's a lot of Arkansas fans that are like this. I'm not one of them. I know, like, Arkansas fans always think ESPN hates them and everyone hates them and nobody gives Arkansas any respect. I will say this year, I do feel a little disrespected
by the committee mostly. Well, and even the AP poll, like,
yeah. I mean, all right. Okay. Like, let's put some respect on the Hogs' name here. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing Tennessee, like, say that if you look at the bracket, bracketology, and they're a 3 seed and Arkansas is a 6 seed. It's not so much that I have a problem with Arkansas being a 6. I do now, by the way. You better get us up on that 5 line or that 4 line immediately. But I do have a real problem with Tennessee being a full 3 seeds higher than us. What is that?
I mean, I know that they're using some kind of algorithm where it's like points scored and strength of schedule and, all these different numbers. It's like this is where that doesn't work. Like, look, because the evolution of teams over a season, it's like if you look at LSU's first 10 games, then they look really good. And if you look at Arkansas's last 10 games, and it's like, but it only matters what's happening now. And I mean, I sent you the text of my TV when that picture came up of the top 16 AP poll, and Tennessee's at 3 and Arkansas is nowhere in there. And I'm not saying Arkansas has to be in the top 16. So, 16 best teams are really good. I don't know if Arkansas is in there or not.
We better be ranked higher than 16 on Monday.
I would think so. Well, but
I ranked 18th. What do you got to do? What do you have to do? Like, you got to beat the number 1 team in the country. You got to go, then you got to beat the 16th ranked team in the country. You got to beat the 6th ranked team in the country. What do you want? Like, that's crazy. You got to move up, man. You got to move up. If Arkansas is not in the top 15 on Monday, that is absurd. Because this Kentucky game, like, first of all, Kentucky had their full roster back. I understand those 2 guys were not there and they were just coming back, whatever. Like, they still had them. Like, they had their whole team. And that wasn't like this kind of like fluky game. There was no fluky things about it. In fact, all the fluky things went to Kentucky. Like, we just straight beat them. Like, so when I sent you that text, it's like, how can the most confusing thing is, I know that they're looking at different metrics, but it doesn't matter. How can you have a team that we have a better overall record? We have 1 more win, better conference
record, and we beat them head to head, and we've beaten the number 1 team in our conference, who was the number 1 team in the country at the time that we beat them. It's like, and this is before the Kentucky game still. And I'm like, okay, so we lost 1 game by 1 point on the road to a good Alabama team. It's like, how can Tennessee
out of the last 13 games, well, now 14
be better
games.
than, like, I just don't understand what metric you're looking at to make that team like, even if you're somebody who, for whatever reason, you look at their athletes, or, I mean, I don't know what they're looking at, but like, they're like, this team has more potential to go deep in the tournament or something. Fine if that's your opinion, but sometimes that's your opinion. You're like, yeah, but there's still the head-to-head and the record. Doesn't that come first?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I am in a complete agreement with you. I mean,
I
I
get
don't.
using the other metrics if it's like they're tied or
Are you trying?
it's
I mean,
too
like,
close, but this is the first metric is record and then head to head, isn't it?
how are you supposed to convince me right now that okay, I won't say that Arkansas is the best team in the SEC right now. But how are you going to try to tell me that they are not at the like so maybe they're not better, like is Arkansas better than Kentucky? Well, I don't know. We beat them at home. Is Arkansas better than Tennessee? I don't know. We beat them at home. But what I will tell you this, you can't tell me that Tennessee and Kentucky are better than Arkansas because we just beat them. So, and that goes for Auburn too. Beat them at home. So I understand that that's at home, but if I'm looking at the teams right now, I'm just talking about right now. You can't. I don't know if Arkansas is the best team in the SEC, but you can't tell me that there's a team definitively that is better than them in the SEC. How could you? Not right now, like at this moment. How could you make that argument? Like as they're playing, like nobody in the SEC is playing better than Arkansas right now. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I still think like Auburn is better and their record is better. And even though we beat them in the head-to-head, you know, it was on our floor and it was close. So it's like that's probably a wash. And Tennessee may beat us when we go to their house. And like you said, maybe Tennessee is as good as Arkansas. Maybe we're the same, and it's just the road home difference. But it doesn't matter. Like when you have the head-to-head and you have a better record, you should still be in front of them, not 4 spots behind them.
By the way, Auburn is getting their head beat off by Tennessee right now.
Are they?
Yeah, they're down by 21 with 3 minutes left. They're getting smoked
at Tennessee.
Yes.
Boo, dude. Tennessee's gonna have something for us.
I'm here for it, dude. Let's just okay. Not looking ahead, but let's win that. Let's win on Wednesday. Take care of business. Beat LSU. Dude, I am here. Let's go on the road to Tennessee. Let's do it. By the way, we're also not even mentioning the fact that we beat a Florida team that just got done beating Auburn. We went on the road and beat them.
Well, that's the thing is, it's not like we don't have any road wins. Like I could see that if you were like, this team plays great at home, they beat some really good teams at home, but they can't win on the road. It's like we've had some good road victories too, and even the Alabama game, like, I mean, that was a bummer, but like, I mean, 1 point, and you could attribute 2 of those 2 points to that stupid technical foul that Tony made. You know what I mean? So
well, and then also, I mean, like, you can't be 23-6 and not win games on the road. I mean, we're 23-6, man. Like, obviously you can win on the road. The road wins that first of all, we won a tournament on a neutral site, so you have those, and then you have wins on the road. You know, at LSU, you have it at Ole Miss, you have it at Georgia. I know that's not good. At Missouri, at Florida. Yeah, we'll see. You know, we'll see how it goes when we play Tennessee and see how that is. But I'm not afraid of playing Tennessee at Tennessee. We might lose, but I think that right now Arkansas is playing better than anyone in the SEC, and it's because they're playing harder than anyone in the SEC as a team. I've seen no teams that are playing as hard as the Razorbacks, and I think they're the best defensive team in the country, not in the conference. I don't even know if that's up for debate. I think they're the best defensive team.
Not if you ask, you know, Tennessee, I guess.
No, I think we're better than Tennessee defensively.
No, but I mean, wasn't it that reporter that asked Barnes if how come they struggled against Arkansas,
Rick Barnes
is not a great defensive team? And Rick Barnes said, I don't know. And he didn't say, wait, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah. They are a great defensive team.
No, he just blamed that. Rick Barnes was kind of disappointing. He just blamed that whole loss on the refs because he, I don't know, didn't tell his guys not to go running into Jalen Williams because that's what he's looking for you to do.
Dude, I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know. I was watching a game. I think it was Wisconsin earlier in the week, and their coach got chucked out, and it was a bad call. There was like a screen set, and the guy went to go around it, and he got a little bit grazed on the shoulder, or by the guy setting the screen shoulder in his head, and he just threw himself back like a mortar went off. And I think it might have even been that guy fouled out. At any rate, the coach lost his crap and I mean was screaming at the refs, got ejected, and then was like yelling at the fans to get into it. I think they did end up losing, even though they made a good comeback. But all I'm saying is, I don't know if Twitter or if these coaches are on social media too much or something like that, but I feel like coaches are, not all of them, but more of them have lost that anger all the way down to the last second. The buzzer ends, and no matter what happened, when the buzzer ends, if you look up at the scoreboard and you have less points, you go, good on you, shake their hand, you swallow it down, you know what I mean? But I see a lot more coaches that are really acting like, base, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you saw what's his name?
John Howard
take a swing.
Yeah. Come on now. Yeah, over because
it used to be
because you called timeout when you were up. Like what? Like that's crazy.
Well, and it used to be you only blame the refs if it was an egregious call at the end of the game that literally kind of cost you the game, or or they called the fouls completely lopsided where one team didn't have fouls and you were in the bonus for the last 10 minutes. But like Rick Barnes saying something about the refs during that game, I don't even remember any controversial call in that game.
No,
you know what I mean?
No. I mean,
weird.
Jalen drew a bunch of charges, but and I understand that those are frustrating calls because they're bang plays a lot of the time and stuff. But you also like watch some tape, dude. Like, and tell your guys that guess what he's gonna do. You can't leave your feet going forward. You can't do it in the paint. Like that's what he's gonna do. And your guys did that a bunch. Like so, I don't know. Like I'm sure. I mean,
and also you didn't shoot well. Like that didn't help you win. But like 4 charges didn't make you lose the entire game. Like you shooting 29% didn't help as well. You know what I mean? And the refs didn't do anything. Refs didn't make you shoot like terrible. So yeah.
Well, all right, man. Well, huge win. That was an intense game. Right down. I mean, I was
stressed out again.
Stressed out
every time. They can't just put a team away by like 15 or 20 so I can just relax in this last 10 minutes. No. Every time I've got to be swearing on the edge of my couch in the last minute.
Yeah, well, that's just because that's how they're a team that beats you by D'ing you up and getting loose balls and stuff, and they're not a team that snowballs you with their epic shooting. That's just not what they do. So that's how it's going to be. But I'm excited. So we got LSU on Wednesday. Let's keep it going. I would love to see the Hogs win out heading into the SEC tournament. I think that would be great because I'd love to get that seed higher.
We're number 2.
I'd love to be on that 4 line. If we win out, I mean, I think we could be on that 3 line. I don't mean win the SEC tournament, but I mean win out the season. I think we could be in that 3. It's just so much better in the second round. The higher that you can get up, the better chance you got to get.
We're number 2. We're number 2 in the SEC right now.
Yeah, should be. Yeah,
because we have the same record as Kentucky, and we have the head-to-head.
Yeah, we should be. I don't know if they've updated it. Let's see. So Kentucky is overall. Yeah, we have the same record overall, and same record in conference. And we have the head-to-head. So yeah, we should be number 2 in the SEC. So AP, put some respect on the name. Get us. I
know we're not going to jump Kentucky because they're number 6 in the country, and I don't think we should. But yeah, come on, dude. Like, if we don't get in front of Tennessee, I don't care if Tennessee wins or not. Like, right? I mean, beats Auburn or not, we still should be in front of them.
Yeah, this Tennessee 17, Arkansas 18 is junk, and I need Arkansas to be in the top 15. In fact, I could make an argument. I won't make it. I think Arkansas should be sliding in right there at number 10 or something like that. But that probably won't happen. But we better be in that top 15. And when bracketology comes out, they better have Arkansas in the top 16 teams right now, anyway, because that's ridiculous. All right, man. I will see you on Wednesday.
All right, let's keep it going. See you, man.
All right, see ya.